Hi there, I'm Norene Freeman, and I want to give a shout out to all you little kiddos and all of those of you who are young at heart. You know what the season is, right? The scary season of the year. And I don't know about you, but I don't really like scary stories or scary movies. I do my best to avoid them, but I found this really cute story that I think you might enjoy. It's called Jeb Scarecrow's Pumpkin Patch, and it's by Jana, Dillon. Okie doke. Well, it's mighty hard work scaring crows all day. Crows don't scare easy. A scarecrow's got to flap and wave his arms around and kick and hurl his legs. He's got to look like a wild man before he can scare those pesky, seed-guzzling, fruit-pecking crows. Now, Jeb Scarecrow was just a kid, but he did a fine job guarding his family's pumpkin patch. Those pumpkin seeds had sprouted up all around him right nicely last spring. Now there were huge orange pumpkins basking in the October sun. In the evenings, when the crows were in their nests, Jeb ambled along home to the little straw cottage he shared with Mommo and Daddo in the woods at the edge of the pumpkin patch. Jeb, I've got some real bad news for you, Mommo said that night at dinner. There's talk among the crows of a big harvest celebration right in your pumpkin patch the week before Halloween. Jeb dropped his fork. Why me? He cried. Why now? Well, those crazy crows throw a party every year, son, said Daddo. And so far it's been in other crows' gardens. This year they chose yours. Well, they'll peck and pick at all my pumpkins, wailed Jeb. I won't be able to sell any for Halloween, doggone it. What am I going to do? Not much you can do, son, said Daddo, shaking his head sadly. No scarecrow ever won out over the crows when it comes to their harvest bash. No, sir, not one scarecrow ever won. There's no way around it, Jeb, said Mama with a sigh. Your pumpkin patch is as good as gone right now. You might as well forget it. There's always next year. Nope, they just can't have it. Not my pumpkin patch, said Jeb, and he stabbed his fork angrily into his cherry pie. Each day, Jeb Scarecrow stubbornly showed up in the pumpkin patch at dawn's first light. He tried to plot some way to save his pumpkins, but it would take a lot of thought, and the crows didn't leave Jeb much time for deep thinking. You're not partying here, Jeb warned Grandfather Crow as he swooped by. Oh, yes, we are, cawed Grandfather Crow. And no scarecrow can stop us. Least of all you, Jeb Scarecrow. You're nothing but a kid. And he flew away laughing. Ha, 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 ha. No one is celebrating in my pumpkin patch, yelled Jeb at Bernie Crow. You wait and see, Jeb Scarecrow, mocked Bernie. This pumpkin patch will be nothing but leftovers. And he flew away, chanting, Partay, partay, partay. Well, you crows should celebrate in the wild, not in some hard-working scarecrow's patch, Jeb scolded Lucy Crow. And eat berries when we could be eating giant, juicy pumpkins? No thanks, said Lucy Crow saucily. We're going to eat pumpkins. And that's right, these pumpkins, your pumpkins. Well, there's not a scarecrow alive who doesn't get nervous the night before he has to do something important. The night before the crow's big bash, Jeb tossed and turned and twirled until his sheets were twisted all around his middle. It was his last chance to think of a plan. He thought of this and he thought of that, and he got up 3 times to eat. At last, in the darkest hour of night, Jeb hatched a plot. Never mind, not much sleep. Jeb was up at dawn, and as soon as Momo and Dado heard him, they leaped out of bed. Jeb told them of his plan. "Well, we'll help, Jeb," said Momo, "any way we can." So all day long, crows kept Momo and Dado running up and down the pumpkin patch while Jeb worked steadily. He covered some of his pumpkins with a shirt, a shawl, or some other piece of clothing, and then mysteriously crawled under each one of them. "Give up, Jeb," jeered Grandfather Crow. "We crows will win. You lose, we win. You lose, we win. We win. Ha ha!" "What are you doing so sneaky-like under those clothes?" asked Lucy Crow. But Jeb didn't bother to answer. He just kept on working. At sunset, Dado shouted, "Jeb, the neighborhood crows have flown away to meet their guests." So Jeb jumped up from under a scarf and said, "Momo, Dado, quick, we've got to set up the last part of my plan." Well, the sky still glowed in the twilight, but the earth was dark and shadowy when the Scarecrow family was finished. "I sure hope this works," whispered Momo. "Cross your fingers," Dado said softly. "Here they come," whooped Jeb, and the sky darkened with noisy birds. "Wait till you see these mouth-watering pumpkins," Bernie Crow cawed loudly to the guests following him. "Yes, sir, party time. We're almost there," Lucy Crow shouted. But as they came over the tops of the trees to Jeb Scarecrow's pumpkin patch, Bernie Crow suddenly hollered out, "Whoa! Hold everything!" "Monsters!" shrieked Lucy Crow, "guarding Jeb Scrow's pumpkin patch!" Great orange heads, staring like spooks, grinned up at them wickedly from the pumpkin patch. "Turn back!" squawked Bernie Crow. The neighborhood crows tried to stop, but the crows behind them just kept coming. Soon the crows were all banging into each other, cawing and screeching, feathers flying everywhere. "Turn back!" shouted Lucy Crow. "The pumpkin patch is haunted." "Stop pushing!" hollered Grandfather Crow. "Let an old crow through." "Party's over," cawed Bernie Crow. "Party's over." Well, as the crows disappeared over the trees, Jeb collapsed with laughter. Momo and Dado sat down beside him, hee-hawing till their sides hurt, while the honking of a car horn silenced their laughter. "Hey, Mr. Scarecrow," called a fellow from his car. "I'll buy one of those jack-o'-lanterns for Halloween. I couldn't carve one any better myself. And, I'll want one of those plain pumpkins, too, for pie." A car pulled up behind his, and then another. Soon the street was lined with cars. Folks were waving money and smiling at the jack-o'-lanterns and the pumpkins. Jeb was smiling too, as he and Momo and Dado hurried about selling his darling pumpkins.